here we go. Now I'm starting. One second. Great. Ah, great. So, hello everyone, and we're ready to continue because we this being in a mode of spirituality or being in a mode of okayness, being in this space that we create, should not begin and end. Actually, it should just be. It can not should, but it can just be our natural always state. And I'm finding more and more it's happening that way. And I want to invite all of you to start experiencing that and feeling that awakening, that awake state of love, of okayness, all the time, all the time, all the time. I was sharing with someone the other day that I've always loved playing tennis. I just got back from a game of tennis, very intense, very fun, lot of fun. I'm exhausted actually, and I was actually considering, do I really want to go online today? I maybe I just want to take a break. But then I said, no, this is so much more fun. Also, this is great to be with everyone. And actually, to be honest with you, I just took a quick shower, and all the exhaustion is absolutely vanished. But what I was getting at is, all these years I've played tennis and I've enjoyed it, but it's also been in parallel somewhat of a frustrating experience. And the reason is that I have very high standards for myself, for my game, and I get very easily frustrated, and I want to win. And I get frustrated with my shots, and I get frustrated with my partner's shots. And I have actually been a pretty bratty guy on the tennis court, believe it or not. And but but ever since, I don't know, it's been since the last 2 or 3 months that I suddenly, and without, I mean, mind you, all these years having been an SSY teacher and an initiator and all this and all this, I've always said that to myself, Sanjeev, what are you doing? Here you are, you're teaching okayness, you're teaching equanimity, you're teaching, meditation, and you're not able to keep your cool on the tennis court. You teach people about happiness, and yes, in general I'm happy, but the moment I'm with the on the tennis court and I hit the wrong shot, something just goes, oh, why didn't this go the way I practiced it so hard? I want to do it right. Or even when my partner makes a mistake, it's like, you know and God forbid the other guy on the other side hits a good shot, I'm like, oh. And it made no sense to me. It made absolutely no sense to me how I could do that. And even in spite of telling myself this, that I'm going to consciously, put myself in this state of okayness. Remember, life is a game. Life is a game. So what is a tennis court? Yeah, I mean, there's nothing compared to the game of life. I'm able to cruise through and live it the way I live it. But there was just like a blind spot. And 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 so, in spite of having thought all this, and in spite of having consciously made this decision to not be that way, I had not been able to do it. And maybe a little bit toning down here and there, but some I'll be back into fight over a point. It was out. No, it was not. It was out. No, it was out. Come on, man, it was out. I'm not. Forget it. I'm leaving the court. I mean, to that point, it's ridiculous, like a kid. But just about 2 months ago, I suddenly found myself saying, great shot. I mean, I just surprised myself. My opponent hit a nice shot, and I was like, wow, that was awesome. That was a great shot. And and my partner makes a mistake, and I'm just like, he knows he knows what happens when he makes a mistake. He looks back at me expecting me to like make a mistake and go, oh, something. And instead I'm just smiling at him going, no problem, it's fine, keep going. And he's like, what happened? and same thing with my own shots. I'm hitting a shot in straight into the net, and instead of, and my serve isn't going right, or whatever is happening, I'm looking at that and saying, oh, okay, let me do better the next shot. And in fact, the next shot is better. And more than anything else, I'm just simply having a great time on the tennis court, and I'm actually playing better. Today, we played with a very tough pair opposite us, and we still won. And I mean, by a small margin. But even though even if we had lost, I'm saying I had really enjoyed myself. So I think that shift has happened. So that's why when I said that, we are about to, I was going to say, okay, we are ready to start. And I said, no, we are not ready to start. We've already started. We're already awake. We're already there. And this is just an excuse to celebrate, an excuse to be together. There's nothing to learn. There's nothing more that you need to know. There is nothing more that you need to become. There's nothing more that you need to get or have. You're already all of that. And now just be that. Just be that and live that knowingly. So, and yet we run into our little speed bumps in life. So, and even those speed bumps in life teach us something, and an opportunity to see that. And so yeah. So, um anyone wants to share anything about what's going on in life, or what's
Um,
happening, what challenges? Yeah, Pankaj.
Sanjeev, when you talked about your game, I remember many, many years ago when my daughter Gopi used to play on a field hockey team here. There was a great player on her team. She turned out to be the best in the state of New York eventually.
Wow. Okay.
But when I they lost one of the games, and I was talking to her, and this is a 16-year-old girl.
You're right.
She said, which I will always remember. She said, "I play to win, but I don't have to win to enjoy the play."
Oh yeah, wow. That
It was
play
Could you
to
please
win.
so.
repeat what you said? Could you please repeat?
It's Yes, Priti. She said, "I play to win, but I don't have to win to enjoy the play."
Right, right,
So good.
exactly.
Very nice.
Such a
Yeah,
perfect balance. Yeah, you do play to win. Just because
yeah,
you're not attached to winning, you don't like, okay, fine, you win. You don't become a walkover. It's not that. You
yeah,
play full out. You play
yeah,
all out, all out. Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, profound, very profound. And I'm sure that's what sustained her to be, moving on into becoming a state champion and all that. Yeah,
Oh yeah,
awesome.
oh absolutely. I'm sure that that's exactly what happened. Yeah, it was unbelievable. The lesson that you can learn from a 16-year-old. For that matter, you can learn lessons from any person at any age, right?
Absolutely, absolutely,
uh,
absolutely, absolutely.
as long as you're
I,
open to it. As
as
long as
long
you're
as you're
open to it.
open to it. I mean, these kids
Yeah.
these days, I'm telling you, my niece's daughter, who was all of 3 at this time when this happened, it was so funny. She she somehow got her finger a little bit hurt in the door, something, it closed or something, and her mom was really panicking. And this little kid, 3-year-old kid, turns to her and says, "Mom, inner peace, inner peace."
Wow. She must have heard that from you at some point.
From either from me or from Karate Kid, or no, I think she heard it from Panda Bear, the Kung Fu
Panda, panda.
Panda,
Yes.
Kung Fu Panda, Kung
Kung Fu
Fu
panda.
Panda. So she goes, "Mom, inner peace." So yeah,
Yeah,
any age is good, good,
it's terrific.
great. So yeah, so life is one big adventure. There's no time for boredom. I was just talking to a group of young college graduates yesterday about how to never get bored, you know thinking some more about it, talking some more about it today. We always look at boredom as something, benign or harmless. Okay, you're bored, fine, you don't want to be bored, but it's okay. But what I was realizing today is what happens if you're successful and bored? It's a deadly combination because you are capable. You're very capable. You're successful is an indication you're capable. And now you are bored. Now you are capable of doing a lot of damage in that as a result of this boredom. And you
Mm.
might, either hurt somebody or get into alcohol or drugs or whatever. And that's what the snakes and ladders game of life happens with that. So
Oh,
um,
what a fresh perspective there, Sanjeev.
yeah,
That is great.
exactly,
That is
exactly.
great.
Yep. So and how to not get bored. So we've got a video on YouTube now about how to never get bored is the title of the video. And I'm going to post the link to that on the open door, or maybe uh, anyone you can do. Jennifer G, you can do that if you can. You have the link for that video, which we posted on other
I have
groups.
it.
But yeah, we posted it on Twin
Oh,
Heart
that
and
same.
the same,
Okay.
how to never get bored.
Oh, yes, yes. I'll
Right.
put it.
Yeah. So we can post it on open door, and I'll add you, Pankaj, to that group. So
That'd be great.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's getting bored has not been a problem for me,
Right.
uh, fortunately. But one of the things, but that is, it is not a very uncommon problem, because as we get closer to an age when you want to slow down, I speak with so many of my friends who are, again, very successful, very capable people, who are afraid to retire
To retire. Exactly.
because they say, I don't know what I'm going to do when I
Right.
retire.
Right.
And when I think about that, I feel like there will be so many things to do. I won't have enough time actually to do all the things that I would want to do.
Exactly.
Um,
Exactly.
and but that's a very that's I think we have to be grateful for that.
Sure. And you can forward it to your about to retire friends, because the whole secret of not to get it bored is ultimately about adding you into the picture. When you are engaged with whatever it is, there's no room for boredom.
Yeah.
It's not the thing that is interesting, it's whether you are interested.
Yeah.
That's that's the key. And if you are interested and curious and open, then everything is interesting and there's nothing boring on the planet. So what else? So any questions or anything to share, anyone else?
So I think one of the things that I'd like to ask is, what role does meditation play in sort of increasing your awareness? What if does meditation have a role to play, and if so, what role does it play?
Right, great. Yeah, that's a great question. And I've kind of, even after being a teacher of meditation for so many years, I still ask that question, because it's a very valid question. I mean, so I think this is, if you look at from an experiential perspective at who am I, what am I, and understand who I am, and understand that there is nothing but I in existence. Everything that I encounter is I. Everything that I encounter is made up of I. There is only I. Whether whether it's this experience of meeting people, or this experience of seeing this object, or all experiences is permeated, infused with I. And that understanding the qualities of I, of openness, of eternity, of lovingness, of infinite acceptance, in infinite size and pristineness of it um, all that remains to be done is to live in a way that is consistent with that understanding, right? So so now, does living in a way that is consistent with that understanding include meditation? So it is not required or necessary, in my opinion, to meditate, to see yourself as that, or to become that, or to live that, because you are already that. There is nothing that meditation is going to add to you. You who is already divine, who is in your essence, that cannot be added to, cannot be subtracted from. And therefore, meditation is not something that is going to make you more. There's no such thing as more God. You know, God is God, divine is divine, and you are that. Meditation is not going to take you there or make you that, because you are already that. However, so there is no, absolutely no compulsion, or there is no directive that you must meditate, or it's a requirement of meditation is a requirement to reach that or achieve that. I don't think so. I think you can achieve that in anything, just by knowing, by thinking, by looking, by getting into art, by your business, by your interaction with people, by any moment, any time, any place, every moment is available as an opportunity to experience divine. So so meditation does not directly, or certainly not exclusively, the only way to achieve that or to experience that. So you don't have to meditate now, but we can put it in the same realm as we put dance or tennis or or music. Do you have to play music? Absolutely not. But if you enjoy it, then why not? So you don't have to play music in order to be more divine or anything. You don't have to play tennis to be divine. You don't have to dance in order to be divine, because you're already that. Similarly, you don't have to meditate to be that. But if you enjoy meditation, in whatever form, I mean, of course, there are so many forms, whether you're talking about kundalini meditation, or breath awareness, or vipassana, or siddha samadhi yoga, or all these various forms of whatever it is about meditation that you enjoy. If you enjoy that peace and quiet of being alone and being with yourself, absolutely, why not? So so as an available, you know as an available experience in the whole spectrum of experiences that are available to us as human beings, we certainly don't want to exclude it.
So, but to take it a step further, what you seem to be saying is that there really is no such thing as sadhana, whether it is meditation, meaning the means to be more aware. So,
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah. I think, um, yeah. I mean, this mystery that I am, the mystery that is infinitely varied, infinitely magical, every moment changing, every moment taking these all these forms and whatnot. And and it's hardly in our control. It's to think that somehow we are going to get a handle on this by doing some sadhana, it seems to be pretty we are already that, and we are all that. And so it's a kind of a paradox. I mean, we are that mystery. We cannot become anything more than that mystery. But to now think that we can abandon this knowledge of ourselves temporarily, and go around the other way, ignoring my true self, and then do things called meditation, called sadhana, called tapasya, called fasting, or whatever, in a way that I will come back and get a handle on this mysterious infinite that I already am, seems 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 misplaced, if nothing else.
yeah,
but
yeah,
but at
but
the yeah, go ahead.
no, please go ahead.
No, so but if sadhana is something you enjoy, if chanting is something you enjoy, if singing a bhajan is something you enjoy, and it brings you to that experience of oneness, brings you to the experience of divine, brings you to love, brings you to devotion, brings you to the softest side of yourself, and you experience that, and it's an experience that you love, then why not? So
Yeah,
bhakti,
no, no,
whether
that
it's bhakti or gyan or seva or any of that, if that
right.
makes that, if that's what brings you joy,
So
certainly.
I think what I find is that uh, everything that you said in terms of you are already there, you're already that. Uh, I mean, and we have talked about this before. Intellectually, I have understood it for a long time.
Right.
It's not new to me. It's it's
Mm.
it's I have understood it. I've read about it. What I find is that when I meditate, there are certain things when I do those things that it seems to me that I can get closer to that experience of joy, that experience of bliss. And meditation, for example, is one of those things. Chanting, I find just, it's just, I love it. I mean, I just
Yeah,
love it. And,
yeah,
and, and
yeah,
it sort of makes me, takes me closer to that
yeah,
experience.
absolutely,
Uh,
absolutely,
so,
absolutely, absolutely.
yeah.
But now, yeah, go ahead,
But
finish
you
up.
are saying,
Yeah.
but basically what you're saying that these are really not necessarily the means to a goal because the goal is already achieved.
Yeah, the goal is already there. The only thing that remains is to expand that knowing to include all experiences. Why can we why do we want to limit our experience of divinity to meditation and chanting or dancing or music or seva? Can we not experience divine looking at a flower, looking at you, looking at a mirror, looking at cooking food, talking on the phone, going to sleep? Why do we want to so knowingly expanding our beingness to include all experience? And yes, certain things may be more conducive and maybe easier to do that, such as meditation or bhakti or chanting and things like that, and are easier and more somehow closer to those qualities that we experience. But as long as we are dividing the world into good and bad, right and wrong, evil and great, or spiritual and non-spiritual, that dichotomy is going to keep us away from experiencing this all the time and anytime.
Yeah. But you said earlier that something to the effect that all that remains is to live in that experience at all times.
Celebrate, to celebrate.
Uh, yeah. Um, but I don't live in that experience at all times. And I don't want to leave it to a chance.
Right.
Well, it'll happen someday.
Yeah,
You see what I mean?
yeah, 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 yeah.
So, so, so not doing anything is not an
Right.
option for me, actually.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah,
so
yeah,
there
I
is this
know.
longing to live in that experience at all
Hey,
times.
Correct, correct.
And I'm not there yet.
Yeah.
So,
So what needs to happen for you to see that? Right? So we deny ourselves this knowing of our true self and that awakening. We deny ourselves that awakening. So on one ground or the other, right?
and
So
how do you undeny that? How do you undeny that?
like look right now, what ask yourself that when you if you dropped everything that you could possibly drop in your life, in your awareness, in your being, everything that you could possibly drop, you could drop. What remains? Does something remain? What are the things you can drop? You can drop your name, yeah. You can drop your knowledge. You can drop your beliefs. You can drop your thoughts. You can drop your memories. You can drop your, even your clothes, your relationships, your company. All those things are droppable. They are in the realm of can be dropped. So if you drop everything that can be dropped, what remains? What remains is awareness of all those things that you're dropping. And ask yourself whether that awareness can be dropped.
Yeah. No,
As an
I
as
don't.
a, right. So as an experience, it is not possible to drop awareness. And if it is not possible to drop that awareness, then I am that in my essence. If you want to look at the essence of something, right, you take away things that are not essential. The non-essential you remove, and what you're left with is essence. So everything that can be removed is non-essential, because you remove it and you're still you. You remove the second thing, you're still you. You remove the third thing and the fifth thing and the nth thing and the thousandth thing that you remove, and you're still you. And then you finally come to this one thing which you cannot drop, which is your awareness, which you are. And surely that is your essence, right? And knowing that I am that essence is all there is to it. That's the awakening.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll have several discussions on this, I'm sure.
Yeah,
Could
yeah,
I add
yeah.
something, please?
Sure, sure, sure.
So what I feel, Sanjeev ji, what you are saying is perfectly true, and I agree with you totally. It's not that I don't agree with you. But when a person is going through a lot emotionally and is in a turmoil within, to
Right.
drop this and drop that and all that is not possible.
Oh, that's a different story. So
Yeah.
yeah. If I'm
So
talking
at,
about
in those
Pankaj,
times, a healing or a chanting or a meditation is like a tool to help you again reconnect, or going into a silence is a tool to reconnect to that higher field of highness or consciousness, which will, get that person to a semblance of clarity and
sure, sure,
higher self talk.
sure,
So that's what
absolutely,
I don't
absolutely.
know.
No,
How
so
much would
I-
Pankaj would you agree to that?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I again, Sanjeev and I have had a number of discussions regarding this, and I am very aware of the view that Sanjeev holds so strongly, and I'm trying to bridge, I think, the the gap between knowing it intellectually versus
right,
experiencing it at all
experientially,
times.
right,
Exactly.
right, right. So let me,
Actually,
yeah.
yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
No, so specifically in Pankaj's case, right? I know that the challenge he's facing is not an emotional trauma or an emotional grief or sorrow. It's not that. This is about reaching for the stars, right? So so for somebody who is going through some emotional upheaval or pain, I would not be saying this to them, that drop it. You can't drop it because you're in the middle of it. You're surrounded by it. But that's not true in with specifically with Pankaj. It's not that. Here the quest is more for how do I, you know go beyond this intellectual understanding and break through this boundary and reach that thing. So it's actually, you know when you say actually experiencing divine, right, actually experiencing that, it intellectually, but there are only moments in which you experience it, which is whether chanting or meditation. But the one of the realizations I had in a conversation with my sister the other day, when you say I'm not experiencing it right now, okay, so let me ask you this: what are you experiencing right now?
Well, right now I'm very relaxed. I'm really enjoying what we are doing.
Absolutely, absolutely. So
Yeah.
what at an experiential level, what's going on?
I think I'm experiencing who I am. I probably,
Right,
that.
yeah, and but at a what do you call it? Even at a less subtle level, what are you experiencing? You're seeing this screen, right? You're seeing
Yeah,
this screen. You're touching. You're
in your
hearing the
image.
sound of my voice. You're thinking. You're getting thoughts. You are having certain feelings, right? So that is your experience right now. Your current experience is a sum total of all this stuff that's going on,
Right.
right? Okay. So the funny thing is that if you take each of these components and go into it, what are you looking at? Are you looking at you're looking at the screen, let's say, with all these people's pictures on it, right? You're looking at that. That's the visual sensation. But if you go deep into it, what is the reality of it? The truth about this experience of the screen is you experiencing this screen, you knowing whatever this visual composition is in front of you. Your knowing of it is what it is made of. If you were not present, so light waves are coming apparently into your eyes and getting processed, and there's an audio signal going to the visual cortex and creating this image. If you really open up your mind, you won't find any image like this anywhere, but it's somehow created within your your awareness. So the reality of what you're seeing is not, if you just take one thing at a time, the reality of the screen you're seeing is not the screen, but the reality that you can bet on is your experience of this image. You're seeing this visual something in your awareness. That's the reality that you can really bet on or count on. And that reality of this visual image is not, ask yourself whether if you were not there to experience this image, does this image have any independent existence? Does it have
No.
any meaning? It has no independent existence.
No.
So you are the essence of this visual that is going on. You. And who is that you? It's not your body, it's not your eyes, it's not your visual cortex, it's not your what is that nerve, what nerve is it, optic nerve. It's not the optic nerve that's experiencing all this, it's you. And who is that you?
That's just awareness,
It's
basically, it
your
seems to
it's
me.
awareness. It's awareness that is experiencing all of this. And if you take each of these components, whether the sound of my voice or the thoughts you're having while you're listening to this, or the feelings you're getting that you're listening to this, all of that, if you drill down, it is only awareness which is according reality to this entire current experience that you're having right now.
Yep.
So what you're experiencing is awareness. Awareness experiencing itself is all that's going on in the planet, in your life. There has been no moment in your life where awareness was not experiencing awareness. That's all that's going on. So to say or think that right now I'm not experiencing divine, maybe that's where the whole the illusion is. And if you
Yeah.
and so rather than saying that in meditation I experience divine, but look around right now, what are you experiencing? You're experiencing divine. What are you
Yeah, but
touching?
that yeah, but there is a difference. Sorry, there's a difference in that experience and the experience that I have now.
Right now,
I'm
okay, yeah,
yeah, I'm relaxed. That's fine. I mean,
right,
I'm
right,
relaxed most of the
right,
time.
right.
But it's more intense. The joy or the bliss is much more intense when I'm chanting God's name or singing a bhajan or
Right.
meditating. Sanjeev, I'm sorry, I'll have to leave in about a minute, but
Okay. Okay, so let me conclude just with that that what we are calling this so-called divine experience is also part of the changing phenomenon. What we are talking about reaching and experiencing every moment is that which is unchanging. That which is unchanging, which was present during the chant, that which is unchanging, which was present during meditation, and that which is unchanging, which is present now, right now. That
mhm,
is the one we are talking about. The one, the one that is experiencing tears, let's say during chanting or meditation, those are part of the realm of the manifested or the experience transient phenomenon, and that's not the awareness or consciousness, pure consciousness that we are talking about. So even though it's beautiful, even though it's very moving, even though it's very gorgeous or very moving or beautiful, it's not it, because it is a changing phenomenon. It's not that. That's not what we are talking about. So look for that which was present during the chant, that same one which was present in meditation, that same one is present right now. And that is independent of the quality of the experience, because it's the experiencer itself, herself, himself, which you are. It is independent. It, no matter what experience comes and goes to the experiencer, it does not change or get modified by that. It comes and goes, and we have preferences for certain experiences, which is why I'm saying go for it. Go for chanting, go for bhakti and whatever, no problem. But that's not where it's at. Where it's at is where you already are, which is there all the time. So look for that common denominator in chanting, in bhakti, and I'm saying even in so-called negative experiences, even in sorrow, even in anger. Who is that which is experiencing anger? It's the same guy, whatever you want to call it. Language kind of limits us.
Yeah.
But that same phenomenon, that same entity which is experiencing anger, is also experiencing tears in chanting or meditation, or while chanting the Gita, or it's the same one.
Yeah.
And the Gita is the one that comes and goes, and the chant comes and goes, and the mantra comes and goes. But that experiencer does not come and go. And realizing that I am that experiencer in my true essence, that is the awakening. And that awakening is available right now, right here, before you leave.
Terrific. And I'm going to continue to experience that.
go
I get on my
go
next call.
go for it, go for it, go for it, go for it.
All
Okay,
right. Thanks, Sanjeev.
wonderful
See you
seeing
soon.
you. And I think now you're on the
Yes.
group, so you'll get the announcements also. Yeah.
Great. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So great, so great. Wonderful, wonderful. Because it's this churning where we come up with our own realizations, deeper and deeper and deeper, where we can understand this and experience it very, very deeply. Hello, Nupur. I saw you long ago, but we were so intense in that discussion. So, Preeti, any insights or questions, or anyone?
Yeah, I have a not an
Sure.
insight,
Okay.
but I can't do. I don't think I have the life condition for an insight today. But
Okay.
I had a very harrowing day,
Acha.
and yeah, actually, I was doing the soul communication class with Master Jennifer last night, and she had asked us to communicate with the divine as to what is her guidance for us.
Right.
And we were all in our very first level session, and the divine told me attend Sanjeev Shah's class. So I came at sharp 7 today.
Okay. Wonderful.
And
Welcome.
I
I
dropped
hope.
my worked out. I said, no, I won't work out today. I'll just attend the class. And it so happened that my day has been so harrowing that I think the divine already knew what was going to happen. I was going to be in this life state, and I attended this class.
Correct. Correct.
But I think no matter how much of spiritualism or practice, like you said, we are already spiritual beings.
Right.
But I think when you have a bad day, or you've had a conflict with someone, I personally get very disturbed, because somewhere I feel like a hypocrite. I feel like itna chanting or itna ye wo karke phir bhi you have to react and come home. Chahe galti kisi ki bhi ho, doesn't matter.
Correct.
And then the I spiral down very badly. My life condition drops. Like right now, my body is feeling so weak. I just want to sit in front of the TV and go off to sleep.
Hmm. 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 Hmm.
And I'm really trying level best to now that to be here and then attend Master Jennifer's class and also sit and chant for 1 hour. It's
Right.
going to
Right.
take a
Right.
life out of me, but I'm going to do it.
Okay.
But the
Okay.
point is that because the anger is not directed towards anyone else, it's directed towards self.
Mm-hmm.
That how can I allow this to behave like this, or do this, or allow anyone to talk down to me?
Hmm.
And the pattern becomes even more and more clear. For me, it has become, I mean, Jennifer Master is aware, but I don't want to be offend anyone, but I'm just saying it's largely with men, and I don't understand why that comes, be it at work, be it on personal level. And I've noticed this attitude in men because when they're dealing with women, and I'm not saying all men, but I will definitely say most men in the world,
Hmm.
wherever I've traveled and what I've seen, is to look top down to women. Like,
Hmm.
she's a
Hmm.
woman, so she's a
Hmm.
bird brain.
Hmm. 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 Yeah, that's
So
one of
today I was
the.
out looking for a house with the broker, and the broker has the audacity to turn around and start giving me gyan on something. And I
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
really lost my shit. I said, what the hell? I mean, I
Acha.
may look 30, but I am 41.
Right, right,
I've been at a very senior position with the company. I've run a studio on my own. You can't
right.
talk to me like this. And I
Hmm.
don't want to, because that sounds like ego. But the
Right.
truth is, how do you tell these men that you can't talk down to me just because I'm a woman? And it's
True, true.
horrible all the time dealing with it. It's and some women also deal with it, but they just let go. I'm not the
Hmm.
type who lets go,
Correct.
because every time I let go, I allow you to sit on my head even more.
Right,
So
right, right.
I fight it out, and unfortunately, worldwide, when women express anger and fight back, it's never appreciated.
Hmm.
Again, their
Hmm.
reputation is sabotaged by saying, "Oh, see how emotional she is, how aggressive she is." The same thing a man does, suddenly it's bravado and
Hmm. Hmm.
masculine
Hmm.
and
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
brilliant.
Right, right, right.
That's why women are divided in the category of देवी और महाकाली. बीच में तो कुछ है ही नहीं.
बीच में कुछ है
मतलब
ही
वो
नहीं.
इंसान तो है ही नहीं ना. मतलब
इंसान तो
उसके
है ही नहीं.
वेन्स में तो
इंसान तो है ही नहीं.
इंक बहता है और आदमियों के वेन्स में ब्लड बहता है. So I am like, what the hell? And see, I'm a feminist.
Yeah.
I have lived on my own, and
Hmm.
I'm a very independent. I will always fight my battle,
Correct.
especially when I know deep down I'm karmically very driven. I know when I'm fighting for the right thing.
Correct.
But it
Correct.
just unfortunately drains you, and that angers me even more. And I'm like, at the end of the day, I only come back feeling low.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
Those
Hmm.
men are not going to change. My work is also not getting done. So what? Then I should just be like other women, just sit quietly and say, yeah, you're right.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
and I've dealt this badly in my professional life, in my marriage, between friend circle. It's just, and all men just attacking.
Hmm.
It's just
Hmm. Hmm.
maybe sometimes I feel that maybe I'm too strong a woman, they can't handle it. So
Could
I don't know,
be.
maybe I lack balance. So I'm
Hmm. Hmm.
really
Hmm.
trying very hard to have the
Hmm.
right balance of the masculine and the feminine. I don't ever believe that women are superior to men. No, I don't believe that. I believe people should be looked up as individuals, not as men
Absolutely.
and women. And that is how,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
growing up in the armed forces, being an army kid, that is how I was raised.
Right.
That
Right.
is how I saw leadership. And there was no concept in the army growing up, or you meet a kid from the army air force background about being a girl or a boy. We are
Hmm.
brought up so brilliantly. That's why we are very
Hmm.
different
Hmm.
from the world
Hmm.
in the civil, how people are brought up. But
Hmm.
it's such a conflict now. I'm finding it's just so contradictory to my upbringing and my value system, to what I'm dealing. But also, every time I travel abroad and I deal with people in the West, there's zero conflict. Men
Hmm.
accept me and they think, wow, you're wonderful, you are
Hmm. Hmm.
straightforward,
Hmm.
we like it. I said, really, are you sure? Then it leaves me into doubt. I'm like, यहाँ के लोगों को कैसे मैं ठीक लग रही हूँ, और अपने country
Hmm.
में जाने के
Hmm.
बाद people have a problem with me.
Correct. Correct.
So it
Correct.
just leaves me baffled. And unfortunately, I've just spiraled down today. It's just,
Hmm. Hmm.
maybe,
Hmm. Hmm.
sorry,
Hmm.
I'm talking a
No, no,
lot,
no, no, no. That's
but
fine. That's fine.
so I just
Why?
wanted to share this.
Correct. Correct.
Because it just, the anger towards self, that इतना सब कुछ अवेयर होने के बावजूद भी अपना लाइफ कंडीशन कैसे ड्रॉप हो जाता है इतनी जल्दी.
Hmm. 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 Yeah. Yeah. So yeah. So yeah. So battling this on your own, and having whatever internal or external.
Sanjeevji, very soft.
Oh,
We
it's
can't
very.
hear you.
Oh, can't hear. Okay. No, I was saying that. How's that? Better? Okay. Um, so I want to make sure the audio setting is right. Okay. हाँ ये तो ठीक है. But why is it still a little soft? Okay. Fine. So so when we operate from who we really are. So I'm not saying what you're saying is not true. I understand. I know that to be true about a lot of people, and that they have this kind of attitudes and so on, about women, and all that is a harsh reality of the world we live in. And ultimately that will go away when we all learn to balance the masculine and the feminine within each of us, right? The men need to learn their feminine side, and the women need to learn and hold both energies together. Maybe the women will be 51% feminine and 49% masculine, and maybe the men will be 51% masculine and 49% feminine, but very close. I mean, so there's still a difference, but it's going to be very close. It's got to be very close. And the closer it gets to both sides, both genders being able to hold both energies within themselves. I mean, men being able to cry and women being able to stand for themselves, both those things need to happen. um, and when we get there, we'll get there. And but in the meantime, what you need, what we can learn is what we were talking about earlier with Pankaj also, that who are you really? You are not a woman. In your true essence, you're not just a woman. There is no gender to you. The essence of you, that is the, if, let's say, people do gender changes, right? And they are still that same person. They may change their physique, they may change their hormonal composition, they may change their bodies, but they're still that same person. So what I'm getting at is, we can operate at the level of, I am, I am a, not journalist. What is it that you do? You do film. You're a film
Yeah,
producer,
yeah. I'm a creative director, content
creative
head.
director for documentaries, journalism related stuff, right?
Films, yeah.
Films. Yeah, so
Yeah.
you're a creative director, so you can operate on the level of, I am a creative director. Which is true. I'm not saying it's not true. In the relative sense, it is true. And in the relative sense, of course, you are a woman. In the absolute sense, let's say, for example, you had a change of heart and you want to get into farming and you become a farmer. Are you still you, even though you're no longer a creative director? Hello? You
Sorry.
there?
Yes, yes, very much.
Yeah. So leave yourself on unmute for now. You don't have to go on
Yeah.
mute.
Okay.
So you're very much, even as the farmer, Preeti is still Preeti, right?
Yes.
And let's say tomorrow with an affidavit you change your name from Preeti to Nupur. So
Hmm.
now your name is Nupur, but are you still you?
Yes, of course.
Of course you are still you. And same thing with everything that can be dropped. When you drop all of that and you reach who you really are, and look at who you really are, that you which you are, to which experiences come and go, but which no experience, no matter how powerful, touches. It is one with and intimate with all of experience. That awareness that you are is one with and intimate with all of experience, but no experience touches you. No experience changes you. You are you no matter what. So, this awareness that you truly are cannot be, can neither be aggrandized nor can it be diminished by experience, by somebody saying something or saying something in a certain way, cannot diminish the great, grand, incredible, miraculous, wonderful, beautiful, infinite being that you are. You are all of it. So you are that. You are that. I mean, now you want to operate at the level of smaller and smaller definitions. I'm a creative director, I'm a woman, then therefore I need to react to this guy who makes me think like I'm not this creative person. How dare you suggest that I don't know enough about life or anything or whatever it is that the person implied by looking down on your knowledge or your intelligence. So when you operate at that level is when there is some scope for reaction and a fight and a resistance. But who you really are, is your camera not working?
No, my camera is not working.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
unfortunately.
Okay, no problem. But so who you really are cannot be touched or aggrandized, increased, made greater. You are already the greatest that there is. It cannot be any greater, and it cannot be diminished. There is nothing that you can remove from it or add to it. You're already all of it, all the infinite. So one option is to get in touch with that and be in touch with that and live from that, rather than the limited identities that we form for ourselves.
Yeah.
So when you operate from that, you can just look at, oh, so this guy is calling this entity that I call Preeti, he's acting as if she's a fool. um, and operating out of that, you can really interact with that person in a much more powerful way. That, hey, mister, do you really know anything about this person called Preeti? Do you know who she is? Do you know how much she knows, how much she has created, how much she has done? And without knowing that, do you really think you should be making assumptions? you know I mean, the dialogue can have a different quality and have a different flavor and a different outcome, which is not possible when you are so caught in that role and that identity that you have for yourself called Preeti, that dialogue and that conversation is not possible. What The only thing that's possible is a reaction, out of anger and going, "Rawr, what are you talking about? How dare you talk to me like this? What kind of a fool are you?" Now there's no room, there's no space for anything to happen, right? so
Hmm.
so if we want two outcomes out of it, one is at least that you come away from this experience having planted a seed of some awareness or understanding in this other person, which is really your goal. And the other is you come away from that experience not feeling put down and not feeling, what the hell happened?" If those are the two
Right.
outcomes we are looking for, then if you operate out of this understanding at that level, that, hey, I am, to quote Muhammad Ali, I am the greatest.
Right.
I am the greatest. I know I don't need endorsement, acknowledgement, confirmation, validation, or the opposite of that from anyone for that which I am, unconditionally and unequivocally and unchangeably. I am that. And when you are exuding and living from that quiet confidence of who you truly are, which includes being a creative director, it's not that you are not that, but it's a part of who you really are. It's not all you really are.
Right.
So when that quiet confidence comes from being that creative director and being this divine, this consciousness, this infinite awareness, then operating from that quiet confidence, um, then uh, then the outcome can be different, very different, and the
Yeah.
experience can be very different. You're
Yes, I
seeing
agree
that?
with you.
Yeah, yeah.
I
So
agree with you.
yeah, I know. So the practice is to bring yourself to that, and in the middle of the upset, it's hard to do. um and if you're that upset, right, I mean, if you're that angry and that upset, well, then go and go into it, because no matter which way
Yeah.
you go, you're going into divine anyway. Because what is anger? Anger is an emotion, anger is a thought, anger is a feeling. And what is a
Right.
feeling? The feeling is nothing but a creation of a manifestation of divine. So the essence of anger is also that which you are. You are according anger its existence by your presence. by the divine that you are, you bring anger into existence. So go into anger if that's what it takes. Um, if everywhere you look there is nothing but that, your blood is boiling and there's no way you can even think about what I'm saying, then go into that side.
Right.
No problem. But if at all you've practiced this or thought through this in your quieter moments of being this and living this and operating as this divine source that you are, then that quiet
Hmm.
confidence will be able to express, you know that which you are is infinite love. um, so what if this person has misconceptions about you, right? I mean, is it possible to accept that person in that form, in that set of feelings and thoughts that this person has grown up with, for whatever reasons? It's
Right.
possible. It's possible. And when you
Yeah.
accept it, it's kind of like this, Preeti. The most violent and militant people on the planet sometimes are anti-war activists.
Yeah.
No war, we can't have war, we want peace, you can't be doing this, and we'll burn this building down and we'll do this and this. There's no war, we'll burn the flag, we'll assassinate this president who is taking us to war. Sounds like war to me.
Yeah.
you know
Hmm.
so so and that happens because you don't see who you are. In fact, by identifying yourself with this anti-war thing, um, you are fueling the very war that you want to end.
Yeah.
So by taking this opposing this this diametrically opposite feminist position, we perpetuate the opposites. Even though it looks like we are trying to balance it, the way to balance the masculine and feminine energies is not by taking an opposing view, it's by including the opposite within you. It's by including, acknowledging, and nurturing the opposite within you. It's by you one day being able to say that I am, and you are, you come across as a balanced person, no doubt. But when you are in this, that feminist sort of thought process, I'm saying that me being able to not just be a woman who is full of nurturing, I mean, and actually, let me correct that. It's not woman, it's feminine qualities, or female feminine qualities. The divine feminine qualities is not the only qualities you have. You obviously clearly have the sacred masculine qualities also, of surviving, of sustaining yourself, of making a living, and being practical, and looking for a house, and doing all these things which are, not, don't belong to men or women, but they belong to the masculine qualities. So so the question for you is, how do you nurture that one little percent, 1% of feminine that must exist in this other person that you're interacting with? How do you nurture that? How do you make that blossom where this person can experience compassion and nurturing, rather than this macho form that he's taken on in this false understanding of being masculine? And I'm like kind of stereotyping this broker guy, but and it may not be all true. I'm just to make a point. So what so the challenge, and the more beautiful challenge, is not taking a feminist view or an opposite view, but how do you awaken the feminine in this other guy, in this other with who is completely dominated with only masculine qualities? And it's not going to happen by you just taking an opposing feminist view. It doesn't happen that way. All you do is evoke more of that other one, evoke more of that machoism. Like you said, you even said, like, if you start being that militant or aggressive or woman, then it's like, oh my god, here we go again, here's this hysterical woman again. So you are reinforcing or establishing those qualities, even entrenching those in that other person, rather than achieving what you want to achieve.
Hmm.
You're seeing what I'm getting at,
Yes, yes, I am. Yeah,
right?
but Sanjeev, just one thing. Feminism is not about extremism.
Right.
Feminism is about equality. It is the balance
Exactly.
of the feminine and the masculine.
Masculine.
And that's what
Exactly.
most people don't understand. They
Exactly.
hear the word feminist and they think, oh, it's about being anti-men. It's not.
It's not exactly. And so, if you are aware of that and you are practicing that, wonderful. That's great. But I have been to many, many women's groups where I have spoken or have done, dramas and music and stuff like that, and they don't want to hear it. They don't
Yeah.
want to hear when I want to tell them that, listen, I want to do a play in which this guy actually listens to this, this woman who is working in his house, and they didn't want that kind of a script. They wanted a script where the guy was laughing at this woman who wanted to talk about mutual funds. So I had this little script in which the the lady, so the staff, female staff, and in the house, she's sweeping the floor, and she
Yeah.
suddenly turns around to the
Oh
man,
no.
the owner, and says, साहब ये म्यूचुअल फंड क्या होता है, उसमें डाल सकते हैं क्या पैसा? Okay.
Hmm.
And my dialogue said that, हाँ, of course, ये म्यूचुअल फंड जो है, ये ऐसा होता है, ऐसा होता है, बिल्कुल इसमें डालो आप, बहुत अच्छा रहेगा. That was my script.
Yeah.
This women's group rejected that script.
That's really strange. What did they say?
They said, this guy is going to laugh at her.
No, why?
Yeah, that's what they want, and that's what we ended
I
up
don't
doing in the
understand
play.
that.
The guy laughs at her and says, "Isko mutual," and he makes fun of her at this party with this friend of hers. That says, "अरे, सुनो सुनो सुनो, this is very very funny." अच्छा, गीता जरा यहाँ ना, कल क्या पूछा था आपने मुझे, इनको भी पूछो जरा. And she goes, sir, ये mutual fund क्या होता है? And he goes, mutual fund. She wants to know about mutual fund. She can't even pay her school fees, yaar. Something
Yeah.
like that. That's how the dialogue went.
Yeah, but that's, I think, more of a class thing than gender thing. Because
No,
if
no, but
she had asked
it was both of that. It was both
more,
of that.
oh, okay,
Yeah,
got
it
it.
was both of, but
No.
the point is that this women's group was not willing to acknowledge that there can be a guy, for
Yeah.
example, take me. I mean, I wrote that dialogue because that's how I reacted. And the funniest thing, this is like,
Hmm.
I record, this is divine, whatever you want to call it. Six
Yeah.
months after I did that play, this lady, what is her name? Rajita is in our house. She's been working in our house, doing the floor and all.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting
The
on my
same.
computer, working on my computer. She suddenly turns to me and says, "Sir, वो एक बंदा आया था, मेरे को म्यूचुअल फंड में पैसा डालने को बोल रहा है, डालूं क्या?"
Wow.
I said, "Rajita, hold it right there." I said, I recorded it.
Hmm.
And I said, "Vapas bolo jo bola ho." Exactly the
Ah,
same. It was
wonderful.
the same dialogue, and I sent it to her. It's this
Yeah.
Woprenner magazine, if you heard of it. Woprenner.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, so Woprenner, I mean, which is this, all about women's empowerment. They wanted
Yeah.
nothing to hear about men who are empowered and empowering. They wanted this chauvinist macho, perpetuate that so that they can,
Yeah.
survive and be great. That, oh, look, we are doing all this great stuff to put these kind of men in their place, man planning or whatever the hell they did.
Yeah.
So so you know so that's what. So no, I'm glad you're aware of this, and I'm not saying that you were being holding the opposite, but I'm just making
No, no,
it
I'm very
that
aware
point.
of those kind of staunch feminists. I have dealt with them myself and I've been
Right,
very honest about
right.
my
Great,
views.
great,
Yes.
great. So no, so what all I'm saying is, Preeti, the thing for you is to reach back, further back, reach further back than creative director, reach further back than daughter of an army family and all that. Reach
Yeah.
further back. Who you really are. Who you really are is all of this. Is that awareness, that infinite consciousness, and operate out of that. And automatically the qualities of compassion, of love, of equality, of balance, all that become, the creative director role gets infused with or permeated with this awareness or knowledge of who you really are. You don't drop the role, but you infuse that role with the knowledge of who you are. You don't drop the role of creative director and sit in a cave and become god. That's not what we are talking about.
I hear you. I hear you.
Yeah, so bring that into, and the more you bring that, the more fun and adventure life becomes, and we move towards more and more of the way we want to go, and we don't have to have these bad hair days or whatever we want to call it.
Right.
Right.
Yes.
So fortunately I can't have any of those. No bad hair days for me. I got rid of that problem. But yeah, great. So
Great. Thank you so
time
much.
for the next thing. And yeah, you're on the group now. She's on the
Yes,
group.
I am.
Okay, great, great, good. Okay, terrific.
Thank you so much. See you
Thank
tomorrow.
you, thank you,
Bye
thank
bye.
you.
Right,
See you
Priti?
tomorrow.
Bye.
Bye, bye.
We'll
See
see you,
you.
Jennifer Master.
Yes,
Sometime.
please
Yeah.
come. Huh?
Yeah.
Bye bye.
Okay.
Love
Bye.
you. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Stop the